Hi travelers, Tara here, and we're going to be working on your elemental water reading for June 2018. So this is going to be the reading for all water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. A general reading, so the messages will not resonate with everyone. That does require a personal reading. Now, I'm just going to do a short mini cross. Excuse me. Oh my God, the allergies. Let me burn some joss paper and put a little incense. Now somebody just emailed me this morning and was trying to tell me, well, you need to move your camera around and you need to do this. Look, I got limited space, okay? So if you can't see all of the cards, I don't know what to tell you. I apologize for that. But, you know, I have to work with what I have. So you want to see all the cards, you can get that in a personal reading. Because I take pictures of it, or you actually get the video of it, okay? So that being said, the card that presented itself while I was meditating and shuffling the cards around was this Knight of Swords. Now this represents typically an air sign individual, Aries, Gemini, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. It typically represents news and messages. I always look at the nights as events. So for some of you, this could be about some kind of sudden trip, or having to leave someplace suddenly, or return someplace suddenly, or you get that message that you need to take a trip. Now sometimes this can be, because this represents the energy of Gemini, then typically what this will have to do may be short distance communications. Maybe you got to rush across town to do something. Maybe you got to rush over to the next town to do something. It's not the long distance travel of what we would see. Let's say, for instance, perhaps if it was the Knight of Wands, that represents the fire energy. So Sagittarius, that would be at a distance. This also represents, again, news and messages. This could be concerning business affairs with your siblings, something to do with your neighborhood, the city council, whatever the case may be. But we see that this is prominent. Now, for some of you, this energy has already started. For others of you, this will be something that's upcoming within, let's say, the next week to 2 weeks. For others of you, this may not play out until near the end of the month. Everybody has a different story, okay? And so we're gonna see what's crossing this, what this is. This looks like something urgent. That is the energy that is coming off of this night. The actual drawing of it, the movement of the card, lets you know that this is something that happens quickly, or some news comes quickly, or some message comes in quickly, okay? But it definitely has a lot of energy and force behind it, okay? Something urgent, that's what I'm getting. Urgent doesn't always necessarily mean bad, okay? It just means that it may be something that you have to deal with quickly. You may have to react quickly, speak quickly, think quickly, think on the fly, so to speak, travel light, okay? What is crossing this is the Four of Swords. Well, let me get the rest of the cards down. The underlying, or the root of the situation, here we have a Queen of Wands, okay? Past influences are the Eight of Pentacles. The unknown influences are the Temperance card. There's our Sagittarius card. There it is. And then the unknown, or what may come, and I say may come because this is general. Wow. There's a Queen of Swords. Now, I'm not exactly sure if this is speaking to me about two different aspects of the same person, or literally two different people, or a person and a situation. But it gives me 3 court cards. I have a king, I'm sorry, a knight and a queen. both of the same suit. Okay? But what's interesting is that this queen is faced towards the future, whereas whatever this event or message is headed back towards the past. Now I have this Pentacles card along with this Wands card. Okay? And typically, this is going to speak of financial interest or money. This may be about career. Okay? But to me, in a more broad, general sense, the coins speak to the value of something. The wands speak to the drive, the focus, the ambition, or the anger, okay, or the speed or the heat that comes along with whatever this thing is. Now, I do feel for some of you, even though we've had no cups come out, okay, we have had cups come out, but it is a cup with, it is the fiery part or the watery part of fire or the fiery part of water, okay? So again, this could either be some ugly message coming in, somebody coming in to say something real ugly to you, or something that's going to cause you great displeasure or anger or maybe hurt. Or it could be something that you'll have to move quickly on and it's going to make you feel good. Either way, you're being tasked to try to keep your emotions in check. All right. This could be through, obviously, it's perhaps through some kind of differences. Why do I say that? Because Sagittarius rules foreigners, foreign people. And this is not to say that it is necessarily foreign people, people who live in a different country from you, but somebody who is foreign to you, as if maybe you don't really know that person. All right. But it could also be that it's a difference in terms of the way you think about certain things in life. This could also be some kind of legal issue that we're dealing with. This is the Libra card. Libra does rule legalities, mergers, acquisitions, divorces, separations, business contracts, sales and negotiations, and we see this. So I feel in one respect that maybe this is about, even though this is a water sign reading, we all, no matter what our sun sign, can embody the different qualities of the different suits. That makes a more complete and whole picture. So for some of you, this could be either you are presenting yourself as the Queen of Wands, and the Queen of Wands is known as an individual who can be very flamboyant, can be very just kind of a go-get-em kind of an attitude, somebody who's full of fire, lots of ideas, always moving, creating and building things. As a businesswoman, she's going to be that person that just kind of blows everybody else out of the water. But the thing about fire is that it's quick, right? And sometimes it wanders aimlessly. So this could also be the idea that maybe if you are showing up as this Queen of Wands, that either there's somebody involved with you who's going to help kind of guide or direct that fire, that creative passion and energy in a more logical, linear fashion, okay? Or this could be somebody who is opposed to you, because that's what Libra is about. It is about past, present, potential partners, enemies, rivals, and foes, okay? And this could be, the person may not even be an air sign, all right? They could be any sign, but at the moment in this circumstance or this situation, they're behaving like this cool, rational, objective person. Maybe somebody who hurts your feelings, maybe somebody who has it out for you, who ends up becoming, who once was a friend but has now become an open enemy and may have filed a lawsuit or has said something against you. I do feel that there is some kind of dispute or argument, and this is over money or around money, or even the idea or the concept of work. Okay, this is the Apprentice card. This could even be an argument or dispute over who should be taking the lead, or whatever the case may be. Who should be learning, who should be leading, and who should be following. Okay. The Four of Swords, if you noticed, That is an effigy. That's not even a real person, okay? And so here on the wall we have 3 swords. Well, 3 swords do speak to loss, sorrow, heartache. This is not always in a romance relationship. We've had plenty of friends who disappointed us and hurt us in some way, or we've had to cut situations and people out of our lives because they were very, very negative. It implies, though, that something has occurred that has caused a conflict in some sort, okay? But either you or the other person has decided to take a step back from that. In fact, it's kind of like you've gone underground. Doesn't mean that you're not ready to come back out and fight, okay? Because there's that 4th sword laying there. Now, interestingly, this is Jupiter in Libra. And I was telling you guys back in 2017 how Jupiter in Libra will bring about divorces, separations, lawsuits, bankruptcies, mergers and acquisitions, getting rid of old partners and gaining new partners, okay? So I do feel for some of you, this is, that's what Jupiter in Libra does. And it does that because it's trying to give you new opportunities for new types of partnerships with new people, because the old energy of those partnerships is no longer valid, okay? So really this could be the idea or the concept that you've been in business with somebody else, okay, and you guys have had an argument, a fight, and this queen, if she hasn't left, this Queen of Swords will be leaving. I'm going to tell you that right now. Right now, I think everybody has gone to their respective corners. And now I'm trying to figure out this holistic approach. And what's so interesting to me is the fact that I have a card of short distance travel communications. This also rules faxes, phones, internets, text messages, okay, media, the written word, and getting your message across, but on a local level. Whereas this is going to represent higher education, also the internet, but the internet in terms of reaching people at a farther distance, traveling farther, expansion, growth, because it is in effect, it is kind of like a Jupiter card. Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. So I do feel for some of you, this is a business deal. This is a contractual issue. And this, I think some of you are going to be arriving at a point, even if you are presenting yourself as the Queen of Swords and the person in opposition of you is either a Queen of Wands or behaving as such, what this tells me is that there is a split coming. Right now it may be tentative for some of you. Some of you may not even know that this argument is going to occur, but definitely there's going to be a major change, and it's going to happen rapidly within the confines or the context of this partnership relationship. Now, if this is same-sex or heterosexual and this is about a romantic relationship, it could be the argument over finances or money, or who's pulling their weight, who's actually doing more than the other. Why isn't this shit all balanced out? I'm actually doing more than you, or I make more money than you. One of those kinds of issues. It speaks to some kind of inequality situation going on, okay? And even if this is not a romance, this could be somebody that you're dealing with in terms of your family. Maybe there's some kind of financial issue. Maybe you loaned somebody some money, or maybe you're trying to get a loan, or maybe you've gone into business with a family member, you know, but you've been doing all of the work and they haven't been doing shit. So now y'all have a huge argument, and the person's like, well, screw you, I'm leaving. So this could play out in any number of ways. The true theme of this is that there's going to be some disagreement, some arguments, some harsh crosswords, and there's going to be a split. That's what that says. That's really the theme of what's happening. So I want to see what's underneath the deck. There is the Six of Wands. Now, this is what's interesting to me about this. The Six of Wands is typically a card of victory, and it represents reaching a point in time where you have really gotten over some hurdles. It may have been, you know, you've had to fight to maintain or to get where you are, but the wands say that you had the focus and the determination to do that, and you've reached this level where you can kind of sit back and take a break, not necessarily rest on your laurels, because if resting on your laurels it makes you complacent. But this also tells you that you didn't get this victory by yourself. See all those people who've been marching along with you? Even the horse is like, man, you couldn't have did none of that shit if you weren't riding on my back. So that's the energy that I'm getting. It's this idea that someone, I think, feels misunderstood or not appreciated. Or it could just be simply that now that this particular work project or whatever the situation has done and it's completed itself and you've reached this particular level, now it's time for one of you to move on, or both of you to go in separate directions. But do not do that without giving proper credit where credit is due. Even if it turns out to be shitty, if you learn something from the shitty thing, then you know you can take that. That's valuable information for you. All right. Now, what I want to do is look at this. The only card that I can look at next to this, because I have 3 court cards, right? I can't look at these next to these, what do you call it? Major Arcana card. The only cards I can look at are the 8 of Coins and the 4 of Swords. And what this 4 of Swords tells me, again, as I say, there's going to be a timeout in this. And take that time out to really, really, really get clear. Focus on that communication style so that you can get your message across. If you can't do it face to face, you may have to do it through phone or text or email, fax, I don't know. But you want to be really, really clear about what it is you want, where you're going, why it is, if you got to break this partnership up, why it is you feel you have to do that, okay? That way you can live to fight another day. Sometimes you just have to take a step back and regroup. 4s also speak to some kind of stability issue. So right now I do feel in a sense that everything is in the balance. It is just as it is supposed to be, whether you like it or not. That's the way Jupiter is, the Wheel of Fortune. This is the idea that there is no reward and no punishment. Shit just changes, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. But you can, depending on how you look at those things and the fire and the determination that you have to move through whatever challenges and tribulations and, you know, bad turns of events, you can most definitely positively embody the energy of this particular queen and logically figure your way out of it. What is the truth of this situation for me? So these 2 cards, I'm speaking on that if this is representing 2 different aspects of you, okay? Now, because bottom line is you can't control what anybody else says, thinks, or does, so, you know, why bother? Now, so I'm going to look at this 8 of Pentacles next to this, if it tells me anything about being next to the Temperance card. Whatever this thing is, what this tells me is that it's kind of, because sometimes 8s are about delays and obstacles or hassles. Sometimes this can show up when you feel as though you've been doing all the work and not getting the money that you deserve. You're not earning the recognition and the reward and the credit and the due that you honestly have worked for and you deserve. Okay, it tells me nothing about that. So now I'm going to look at the 4 of Swords next to the Temperance card to see if it tells me anything. You know, and don't be in such a rush to rectify this, because you're going to end up making perhaps a mistake. You're going to overlook something. And that's not what you want to do. You want to... Okay, now... The 4 of Swords with 3 or more court cards. Well, here are my court cards. There they are. Okay. indicates that there are some misunderstandings and difficulty within current relationships. It is a message not to proceed with any new ventures or relationships unless you feel absolutely secure. It is most important to check the fine details before proceeding, as there is a possibility of difficulties arising. Gemini doesn't like to deal too much with the details. It likes to move really quickly, and this card is telling you to slow your roll, okay, and don't base a decision strictly upon your logic. Don't base the decision strictly upon your emotions, but find the balance between both of them, and then speak your truth. Okay? So what I want to do is I'm just going to take a look at this Knight of Swords here to see what this message is about. What this, I mean, it has told me, the cards have told me what this is about. But, and then I'm going to look at the actual Queen of Wands to see, because that is the root of the issue. Okay, so whether this is you or whether this is somebody else, this could be a boss, this could be a work colleague. You know, it could also be a foe. Somebody you thought was your friend, and y'all were on the same page, when suddenly you find out that they're not. Remember, we're talking about Libra. Libra represents the person opposite the seesaw you. Sometimes you can balance that shit out. Sometimes it becomes out of whack. Sometimes people just get off the other end and leave you hanging. Okay? Well, isn't that interesting? It is news about some kind of enemy. Okay, even though I'm not looking at movement or houses or I mean, this could be some kind of property issue. This could be about taking a new path or moving away from something. We do see this card, this movement, this horse here. And then we see this Lamante male, the lover. Now this really reads like a gender, like a Vesta thing. Because Vesta is about gender politics. One man and two women. Two or more women. Okay? The man has absolute control over the groups of women. And he kind of says what goes. Okay, but if the two women, instead of competing with each other, band together, they can completely usurp this guy. Right? Okay. So what we see is some kind of news from a rival, an enemy, a past, maybe someone to do with a lover, or you can't interpret this card any other way because it speaks to requited love. Okay. Now, if this is same sex, then what we're dealing with is this person being the male, or whomever's taking the male role in the relationship. But we also see this card, the Alegria al Cuore, the card of happiness of the heart. So this is some news about a changing relationship or partnership. I don't know if you are the Il Nemica or if it's somebody against you. Wouldn't matter, because if it's two women and y'all are competing for either the same male, the same position, whatever the case may be. This could even be within work. I don't know. I would think that the Gran Signore would come out to represent the boss. So you are rivals to each other. Definitely this is a change coming in. And now that I'm looking at this, this could be saying that this, either you or the other person, you've been working on something for a long, long time. But one of you is victorious. One of you have something to celebrate. And now that news has come completely out of the blue, so to speak. And now you don't know what to do. You just got to take a break. And it's not weakness to take a step back from something. This could be somebody calling you up or emailing you or texting you and saying, yeah, bitch, I've been fucking your man, or whatever the case may be, right? And you just like, what? You know, so this is a moment, as I said, it's a moment in time. And how you choose to react or not will help you move through this situation a bit more smoothly. You might be able to move through it a bit quicker, okay, as opposed to trying to fight the energy. Now, I want to see what this queen is telling me. Pensiero, so thought and meditation. There is the Gran Signore. So this tells me that some of you really hold this person in high regard. They're the Gran Signore. But for some reason, either he's stuck, he's constrained, or he's limited by circumstances of him being with someone else, or by the simple fact that he just doesn't want to. He wants his cake and eating it too. Now, I don't know if this card is telling me that this could be somebody that you work with. Okay, and maybe that person has, I don't know. Every situation is different. So this could be love on the job. So I tell people, don't fool around at your work. It makes it too complicated. Life is hard enough already. And it can be difficult sometimes to keep the private life and the professional life separate if you're working with somebody and sleeping with them at the same time. All right? It can be difficult sometimes because you know it's going to be somebody throwing themselves all up in the person that you got a crush on, that you're crushing on. All right. I'm going to pull 2 cards. This is the angel answer card. So formulate your question. It says it's up to you, as always. Remember, I just told you, if it's up to you how you choose to react or not, or how this situation will go. There's the card. It says getting to know each other. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. Now, let's read the meanings of this. It's up to you. You always have choice. The end result of the situation you asked about is entirely in your hands. You can affect the outcome by taking a proactive approach to solving any challenges. Stand in your own power and have confidence that you have what it takes to bring about a happy ending. Don't wait for someone else to rush in and take charge. In order to come to a successful conclusion, this situation requires your unique perspective and experience. But now let's read this getting to know each other. The romance angels are guiding you to create intimacy with your partner by revealing your true feelings, your dreams and desires, and the other innermost aspects of yourselves. You discover commonalities and learn new ways of relating. If you're presently in a relationship, this card is a message of healing through honest dialogue. This is particularly true if you've stuffed down feelings instead of discussing them with your partner. Perhaps sitting together with the counselor will give you the strength and support to admit them. Regardless, this card clearly guides you toward holding deep and honest discussions for the benefit of your love life. In other words, if what the person is doing or has done doesn't work for you, you need to let them know that and then explain to them why. Because explaining to them why or where you're coming from will help you get to know yourself better. Because I'm telling you, doesn't matter how much you get to know another person, if you don't know who you are, what you will and you won't stand for, what you need and what you desire, and you aren't able to articulate, don't expect that person to read your mind. But if they're not upholding that energy for you and making the situation better, what are you going to do? It's up to you. So that's what I have for you, water signs. Until next time, namaste.